Welcome. In this video, we're going to look at, is COVID-19 the catalyzing event to replace 9/11? Is COVID-19 kicking off the next 20-year plan of control? It seems to have the same effect of inducing fear and nationalism that can be exploited by the Wizard of Oz puppeteers.
9/11. New York took a terrible beating. This nation took a terrible beating. We learned from it. We grew. We're better. 9/11 transformed the country. If I told you before 9/11 you were going to take off your shoes when you went to an airport before you could get on an airplane, and they were going to go through every bag and you would say, I'm never doing that. 9/11 said there's a different world. Look at all the security measures we now have post 9/11 that we would have never envisioned. We went through Hurricane Sandy. We didn't build back what was. You build back better than before. You take that moment, you learn that lesson, and you improve society. We have to do that here. And we have to do it affirmatively. It doesn't just happen.
We'll have a national mandate to wear a mask, not as a burden, but as a patriotic duty to protect one another.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Across the nation, flags have been flying off the shelves.
I've probably gone to 8 or 9 places. There are no flags.
Walmart sold 200,000 yesterday and put more on order today.
This is probably the most direct way for the common citizen to go show his support.
I knew some people on those planes, and I feel like I have to do something.
In July, Trump tweets himself wearing a mask and calls it patriotic. We are united in our effort to defeat the invisible China virus, and many people say that it is patriotic to wear a face mask when you can't socially distance. There is nobody more patriotic than me, your favorite president. Note how he used patriotic 2 times and capitalized it in the middle of a sentence.
Ever since the disaster, a wave of patriotism has been spreading across America.
America is united. We are strong. We are stronger than ever.
From blood drives to passing out freedom ribbons.
If it's anything red, white, and blue, it's going to sell.
At times like this, it's what we do in America. We, the people, pull together, and united we stand.
Here's an article from Popular Science. Wearing a face mask is patriotic. It's not an opinion piece. That's just the headline. From Popular Science. Here's an excerpt from the end of the article. How to be a patriot during a pandemic. If you want to express devotion and vigorous support for your country, you should do everything in your power to help minimize the spread of COVID-19. Even if your state or country has largely returned to business as usual, you can choose to minimize activities known to increase spread, and to wash your hands, wear a mask, and practice social distancing whenever possible. Here's a guide to buying or making a mask so you can proudly show off your love for your country every time you leave home.
We cease to be New Yorkers and Texans and become Americans really, really quick when the need is there.
The first question comes up.
At this New Orleans Army recruiting office and others, the young and the brave are preparing to defend the land of the free.
And then, of course, the infamous USA Today piece, opinion piece. Defeat COVID-19 by requiring vaccination for all. It's not un-American, it's patriotic.
If you ever told me that as governor I would have to take these actions, I couldn't even contemplate where we are now. And to put all of this in perspective, I lived through 9/11. 9/11 was supposed to be the darkest day in New York for a generation. We've done everything we can since 9/11 to make sure 9/11 didn't happen again. We lose 2,753 lives on 9/11. We've lost over 7,000 lives to this crisis. That is so shocking and painful and breathtaking. I don't even have the words for it. 9/11 was so devastating, so tragic, and then in many ways we lose so many more New Yorkers to this this silent killer. There was no explosion. But it was a silent explosion that just ripples through society with the same randomness, the same evil that we saw on 9/11. This is an extraordinary time in this nation's history. It will go down in the history books as one of those moments of true crisis and confusion and chaos. I lived through 9/11. I remember the fear and the panic that existed in 9/11, where a single moment, your whole concept of life and society can be shaken, where you need to see government perform at its best. You need to see people at their best. Everybody's afraid, everybody's nervous. How you respond, how you act. This is a character test for all of us individually. It's a character test for us collectively as a society. What did you do at that moment when all around you lost their head? Right? Rudyard Kipling. That is this moment. What does government do in this moment? It steps up, it performs, it does what it's supposed to do. It does it better than it's ever done it before. What does government not do? It does not engage in politics or partisanship. Even if you are in the midst of an election season, even if you are at a moment in time in history where you have hyper-partisanship, which we now have.
So some pretty blatant examples there of connections between 9/11 and COVID and how nationalism is used to push people into place. There's also been a couple of symbolic stories that I think also lend credence to this idea. Just the other day, Delta Airlines bans the Navy SEAL who's credited with killing bin Laden, and they banned him for life because he shared a photo of him without a mask on in the plane. So it's like, move aside old heroes, move aside 9/11 heroes. We've got new heroes now. Put on a mask or you'll be banned. We don't care who you are. You killed bin Laden? Who cares? It's 2020 now. We have a new 20-year plan. And then here's another symbolic story that I think ties the two together. For the first time in like 20 years, the 9/11 Light Memorial, where they have the 88 spotlights shining up, was canceled because of COVID. COVID took precedence over remembering 9/11. And then due to public backlash, they brought the light tribute back for COVID, or during COVID. So I don't know. Just wanted to include this as well. And why is this important? Just like 9/11, they can roll out terrible new policies. Biden says he's willing to shut down the country if scientists tell him to. He says, quote, "I will be prepared to do whatever it takes to save lives, because we cannot get this country moving until we control the virus." So he's willing to do anything scientists tell him. Well, who controls the scientists? Who controls the scientists? Speaking of scientists, we have the Virginia Health Commissioner showing us another thing they're going to be doing with all of this COVID fear and nationalism. They're going to be pushing vaccines, forced medicine, invasive new ways to surveil us, contact tracing, regular testing, vaccination ID, adult vaccination schedules, mandatory flu shots, a new standard operating procedure whenever a new flu or COVID comes out, and a whole new excuse for governments to pull in the future. You want to take over the world? Just make up a couple fake viruses. Consolidate all the power. Then you have the governor of Maine showing us that really this is about making people's lives hell. Servers who don't want to wear a mask and want to wear a face shield are now being inconvenienced. They have to wear dog cones, essentially. Cones of shame, like pictured here, where it's attached at the neck and then open and pushes the air upward to the ceiling. It's so tyrannical, and they're just trying to see what they can get away with. Forcing people to wear cones? How inhumane. And then we have multiple countries, and it's probably going to become the new norm during times of quarantine and lockdown. They're flying overhead with thermal imaging helicopters, and they're trying to find illegal gatherings so they can bust them and penalize those people. So this was a party of, I think, high schoolers in the UK partying in a backyard. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you think COVID-19 is the catalyzing event to replace 9/11? And again, it doesn't have to fully replace it. It's just another major campaign. And always remember that document, Project for a New American Century, where they said they needed a new Pearl Harbor event. And 9/11 fell right in their lap. And so many of those people from PNAC were in George Bush Jr.'s administration when this happened, when their new Pearl Harbor happened. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you all have a great day.